Breaking at 11, former President Donald Trump criminally indicted for a second time, this time on federal charges in relation to his handling of classified information while out of office. According to ABC News, Trump is charged with at least 7 counts in the indictment. This comes after more than 100 documents with classified markings were found at Mar-a-Lago, his home in August of last year. Good evening. I'm Felicia Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us. We were the first to break this news tonight on TV and on your phone. We have live team coverage from the federal courthouse in Miami, where Trump is set to be arraigned next Tuesday. Our Tara Jakeway spoke with the Palm Beach County State Attorney about this indictment. We begin with my co-anchor, Todd McDermott, with the new developments and how Trump is responding tonight. Todd?
Felicia, just think of it. Tuesday afternoon, the former president will be right here at the federal courthouse in Miami to be criminally indicted on federal charges. Again, Donald Trump will be indicted by the Justice Department for the alleged mishandling of those top secret and classified documents found at his Mar-a-Lago home. There's been extensive investigations done over at least the last year. The special counsel appointed earlier this year. But now Donald Trump will make history as the first former president to be indicted for federal crimes. Here's what we've uncovered about the indictment tonight, and there is a lot there. There's still a lot more still to be determined. ABC News reports there will be at least 7 counts ranging from willful retention of national defense information to conspiracy. That would denote other people more than likely also being indicted. To a scheme to conceal, obstruction, to making false statements. Trump's lawyer also confirmed live tonight on CNN, as well as a count for violating a provision of the Espionage Act, which would be the part of the law governing and covering mishandling of top secret classified material. The former president has been ordered to appear in federal court in Miami again Tuesday to arrive here at 3 p.m. When the former president arrives at the federal courthouse, it will mark this extraordinary moment in U.S. history. Former President Trump will be formally charged, placed under arrest by the U.S. government that he once was elected to lead and did so for 4 years. Once he's arrested, he'll be booked and processed as a federal defendant, as anyone else would, and then appear before a judge for his arraignment on those counts. We believe there are 7 in all. Mr. Trump or one of his attorneys will then enter a not guilty plea, beginning the prosecution process of the former president. Now, Trump has repeatedly denied wrongdoing, as you know. In a statement on his social media platform tonight, the former president said that his lawyers had been informed he has been indicted. They do not have all the formal charging papers, according to them. He called the investigation a, quote, hoax, and said he is an innocent man. He also wrote that he is, quote, innocent, and that it was a dark day for the U.S. Now, Donald Trump also released a 4-minute video on Truth Social, arguing that he is innocent of the indictment against him, and he's been targeted for 7 years since he ran for president.
So I just want to tell you, I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong, and we will fight this out just like we've been fighting for 7 years. It would be wonderful if we could devote our full time to making America great again, and that's exactly what we did. But now, again, our country is in decline. We're a failing nation. And this is what they do.
Now, the Justice Department is moving additional resources to Miami ahead of the expected court appearance next week by the former president. According to ABC News tonight, Donald Trump's team is already planning a trip to Miami and is thinking of holding a campaign event around this indictment. It is important to note that the grand jury heard testimony that led to this federal indictment from former and current Trump aides and allies, as well as his lawyers, who were forced to testify under the criminal exception provision. A big question tonight in regards to politics is how this will affect his campaign, and will it have any effect on him running for office? I want to bring in now our reporter Tara Jakeway, who's here with me down here in Miami to talk about that. Tara?
Well, thank you, Todd. That is teamwork right here at its finest. Now, the Palm Beach County State Attorney says a second grand jury was started here in Miami out of convenience, he says. He also said it was the location where the alleged mishandling of the documents happened, and that's why the second grand jury was convened here in South Florida. Now, a special counsel out of Washington, D.C. has been investigating the former president. On Wednesday, a former aide and current close ally to Trump was spotted arriving arriving at Miami federal court to testify in front of a second grand jury now assembled in South Florida. State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg touched on why the DOJ chose South Florida and what this indictment could mean for Trump's try at the Republican nomination in 2024.
Much of, if not all, of the obstruction occurred at Mar-a-Lago right here in Palm Beach County. I think they're also targeting Trump's associates, like his valet, who allegedly moved the documents before and after the feds came a-calling. The more indictments against Donald Trump, the better it will be for him within the Republican primary. I think his base voters will get more motivated, more juiced up to come out and vote for him.
But Ehrenberg also says when it comes to the general election, these indictments could have the opposite effect on Trump, who will still constitutionally have a right to run for president no matter how many of these indictments he racks up. Reporting live from Miami, Tara Jakeway. Felicia, back to you.